Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. And of course there is an update on Carlos Baleba. As you do see in the thumbnail, Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic has brought us this update. There's also some talk of Donnaruma, and of course there is a bit of an update with regards to sales as well. But we'll speak about that in today's video. It's just about transfer news. It is a week away before we play Arsenal in our opening game of the Premier League season at Old Trafford, with the likes of Cunha, Mbeumo, Sesko all to make their debuts. I'm not saying we're going to be getting another player before that in Carlos Baleba or maybe even Donnarumma or Lammens, which is the young goalkeeper we are looking at, before the game on Sunday against Arsenal. No, that is probably impractical, because to do all of those things in 1 week, it's too much work. But do not rule it out before the end of the transfer window. But anyway, let me get into this Baleba update from Laurie Whitwell. So he basically has reported this morning saying that Carlos Baleba is keen on a possible Manchester United move, and personal terms would not be a problem. A number of United players have been in contact with Baleba about a transfer to Old Trafford, explaining the current landscape and ambitions. That's the first part of his report, and that in itself already tells you that the players want Carlos Baleba at Manchester United. They know just how good he is and how good he will be for Manchester United. You see the new team that we are trying to build. The stadium is looking to have, improvements. You've got the training ground that has already been improved thanks to Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his team. And you can see now that Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the likes of Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Christopher Vival, they are looking to improve the team as a whole. We brought in Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko. We're looking at getting Carlos Baleba. I said that Donnarumma, there is a bit of talk about him. And of course, like I spoke about as well, the young goalkeeper in Lammens. But nevertheless, the players want Carlos Baleba. Ruben Amorim wants Carlos Baleba. We as the fans want Carlos Baleba. So I don't think there's any doubt that Carlos Baleba knows that he is wanted very much by Manchester United. But it's a difficult deal to do. Brighton are a difficult club to deal with. The last time they sold a midfielder, they sold Moises Caicedo for more than 100 million to Chelsea. It's not to say that they're not going to slap the same price on him, if not more than what they did for Moises Caicedo. I am a person that, if something can be done, you should look to do it. And I think that is exactly what is happening with United and Carlos Baleba. The same way we dealt with Cunha, Mbeumo and Sesko, we need to get the go-ahead from Carlos Baleba. Now, him being keen on a move is a green light. It is a bit of a go-ahead, the wink and the nod. But it's not, how can I say, official confirmation where it says that, he's saying yes to Manchester United. Personal terms are agreed. And now we are just in talks with Brighton. Formal talks haven't begun yet. We are still busy finding out how possible this deal is to be done by speaking to Carlos Baleba and his agents, and of course Brighton through intermediaries. Now, the other report that was brought out by Laurie Whitwell, he did say that we are continuing to explore whether a move for Carlos Baleba can be agreed this summer. Competition in 2026 is set to be fierce, so United are studying the parameters of a deal now, in case it is viable and Brighton's resolve can be put to the test. As I said, they're a difficult club to deal with, especially when you are trying to take one of their best players, if not their best player, depending on how you want to look at Carlos Baleba. But he is vital for the way that Brighton play football. He's kind of their main man in midfield, and should he come to United, there would be the same type of energy and reputation. He will be one of the main players in the midfield too for Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. Now, whether a deal can be done, that is why United are busy doing the background work, finding out what is needed in order to structure a deal for Carlos Baleba that Brighton would accept. Because Laurie Whitwell said the personal terms are not an issue. We probably are able to triple his salary from what he is currently earning now at Brighton. And if Brighton want to keep him, they would need to give him a significantly high pay rise in order to match what United can offer, but also to make him want to stay at Brighton, if only for another year. But again, if we can get him now, we save ourselves from having to be put in a bidding war next summer for Carlos Baleba, and Brighton would rather prefer that rather than having one club that is only interested in him. And if Baleba, according to Laurie Whitwell, says that he's keen on a move to Manchester United, you could probably say that he already said yes to Manchester United. So it is good news knowing that Carlos Baleba is willing to join Manchester United. And I do think that with the likes of Mbumo and Onana being there and Lenny Yoro, now the reason why I say this is because Lenny Yoro used to play with Carlos Baleba at Lille before he moved to Brighton, and of course before Yoro came to Manchester United. And of course Mbumo and Onana are both Cameroonian, which is Carlos Baleba's nationality. So there is links for him there. There is people that he knows. And of course, other than that, it is Manchester United. I'm sure there are other players, the likes of Bruno, could have easily contacted him. These things do happen. Players do speak to each other. We might not hear about it in the news or by any sort of person looking to post something like that, but players do talk to each other. Players do contact each other via cell phone. This is normal. They have access to these particular means of communication. So it's not far and beyond to believe that the likes of Bruno, etc., or even Cunha could be looking to try and get a Carlos Baleba at Manchester United. These are all Premier League proven, experienced players that know the standard and the level of quality of play that they would like to play with. But let me move on now to what is also important, and it is the sales that Manchester United need to make. Now, Garnacho, the first one, he only wants Chelsea, but Chelsea are looking to only offer 30 to 40 million for him. Manchester United want 40 to 50 million. He's already agreed personal terms with them, so perhaps a deal can be struck, and I do think a deal will be struck between United and Chelsea for Alejandro Garnacho, and good riddance to him as well. The other sale that needs to happen is Anthony. He's waiting for a move to Real Betis, and they only want to and can only get him on loan. But Manchester United have told Anthony and given him an ultimatum that he needs to find another club and have a deal happen this week, because we want to sell him for 30 to 40 million. So he needs to find a deal and a club this week. Otherwise, he's going to be sitting in the stands until the next transfer window in January. That is what was reported, and that is what Manchester United have given Anthony as an ultimatum, which is good. I'm tired of our club being taken for a ride and we're just accepting whatever deal is being offered to us, even though it is not beneficial to Manchester United. Anthony's agent needs to be doing the work and finding a club that is willing to pay the money for him. Anthony should be doing the same, and I think that is the right decision by Manchester United. But again, it's all about Carlos Baleba. That is the target that Manchester United is looking to get. On Donnarumma, just a bit of a small update. We are not necessarily interested in Donnarumma because of how expensive he can be, and Andre Onana needs to leave first. He is the current number one, and if you bring in a player like Donnarumma, it's obviously going to be relegating Onana to the bench. And if Onana doesn't leave, having two number ones who are not willing to compete for each other, it's not even a competition, let's be real. I don't think that is going to be very viable for Manchester United. So a deal for Donnarumma is unlikely at this stage if Onana, the way it seems, is going to stay. And with Lammens, he is a young goalkeeper from Royal Antwerp, so there could be a deal be done there to bring in Lammens as a second choice goalkeeper that can compete with Onana for that number one position at Manchester United. So on the goalkeeper situation, we'll have to wait and see what happens later on in this transfer window. But as I said, Carlos Baleba is the target, and that is the player that Ineos are trying to bring into Manchester United and are still looking to find out what is needed to structure a deal for Carlos Baleba to Manchester United. But thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comment section what you think about Carlos Baleba potentially becoming a Manchester United player. And of course, drop a like and share to all of those who do support Manchester United. Thank you for supporting the channel. I do appreciate and love you all. Have a wonderful day for the Red Devils. Till we see each other again soon in the next one. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.